I don't even know where to start. Um, I guess a reintroduction to begin. So, if you've seen previous videos here on my YouTube channel, also I was on Facebook. Um, Kind of not on Facebook no more. Ooh, I think my jaw is starting to swell up. Yeah. I am the one, the only natural lady was L Boogie. And I hold content, I produce content for single parents, um, about finances, about just being a single parent and things we go through, helping us achieve generational wealth while being a single parent and taking care of all our responsibilities. And it's not just single mothers. I mean, single fathers that are actually single fathers, single mothers who are actually single mothers. Because now the same thing I was hearing before is hearing a whole lot more, that people that say that, they're a single parent, but they're actually co-parenting. No, you're not a single parent. That's just my opinion. You're a single parent because you're not dating. I'm a single parent because the other parent was not there. Now, of course, I am still a single parent because I'll always be a single parent. But my son now is 20 years old. 20, yeah. It has been quite a journey for me. Things have gone straight to hell in so many different ways. Um, when I last stopped off doing videos, I actually was in the midst of still taking care of my mom. She actually had a stroke the week before Christmas, December 18th, 2020 to be exact. She had a stroke, and I was still doing some videos. I was doing some videos for the company I was a part of, which I will be going back to. Um, but it was definitely a time where I was juggling a lot. Single parenthood, only child, taking care of their mom, and just doing it all. So that was December 18th, 2020. And then, we was in the midst of the pandemic. And then things was getting worse. So she was doing good, actually, with her recovery, as far as with the stroke. Um, she was um, she was unable to speak, but she was able to walk, and she communicated in ways, so I knew, things, it was good, and she smiled and everything. And as they was getting ready to put her, well, actually, she was ready, she was getting together and she was going to the rehab. I left work, or no, it was actually the day after my birthday, because my birthday is New Year's Eve, so it was January 1st. And I came all the way from our house to go all the way to the hospital to ride with her all the way there. But before she got there, I told her that she had to go to the rehab because she can't come home. So, that was kind of because I saw in her face that she really didn't want to go back, because she was there prior to, maybe it was a year prior. A year prior, she actually was in the rehab because she had fell and things like that. So, well, that's 2 years prior. She had fell, so she was in rehab. And then here it is, 2 years later, she's going back to that same rehab to finish up, preparing to get herself so she can get right, due to the stroke. And she was, doing good until I got a call And I used to video call because we wasn't able to see her in the rehab facility, of course, during that time. So they had video calls set up, so I do video calls with her. I used to screenshot all the calls so I can show her. And then at work, I got a call saying that they're rushing her to the hospital because she had pneumonia. I'm like, all right, I'm on my way. And took off from work and went and stayed in the hospital all day. Well, the rest of that day, all night to the next day. I didn't leave until the test, and we're in the emergency room, and it's just we're just waiting to hear what's going on, things like that, and then they say, um, she had first they were saying when they was at the rehab facility that she had COVID. And I said, well, the rehab facility said no, they did about 2-3 tests and it came back negative. She had pneumonia. When she got to the ER, the first test they did, it was inconclusive, but they did say she had pneumonia. And the second test they did came back saying she was positive for COVID. So it's like, all right, let's do this. So they's getting her together to go to have a hospital bed there, but then they didn't have any room, so I had to move her to another hospital in Manhattan. So now here I am, only child, single mother. My son can't come up to the hospital because he was under the age of 18 at the time. So I'm traveling from Brooklyn, going to Manhattan to the hospital, see her. Even when she was in the hospital, beginning with the stroke, she couldn't stay there long. Actually, I couldn't stay in there when she was dealing with the stroke. Before she went to the rehab, I could only go to the hospital and stay 1 hour with her. And I had to work Monday through Friday. So Monday through Friday, and they only had certain hours. So of course, hey, what you doing? So of course, the visiting hours was during the times I had to work. So I always went on the weekends, and that was my day. But when she got, supposedly when she had COVID, went to Manhattan. So I'm traveling from Manhattan to Brooklyn, back and forth. If y'all know New York, y'all know that's a journey, especially coming from Canarsie, and then going to Manhattan. I worked in Brownsville because I worked for the city. So I'm just traveling. It's like, okay, tired. Tired was an understatement. um, so I'm going, and they still working with her through the somewhat physical therapy because he couldn't do a lot because she was getting tired because of the pneumonia, but she was still up, and she recognized me, and she smiled and watched TV, so she heard everything that was going on, so it was good. And then COVID was attacking her kidneys, which I had found out late September, early October, that she had kidney disease. So COVID was starting to attack her kidney, but they had a game plan going, and they was like, "Yo, she's still good. She's still fighting, and she's alert, which is great." And as the weeks just was going on, she started to decline, but she was still alert. She still saw me, and it was good. I would go see her. It would be dark out, and I still would go see her, come home, take care of my son, do it all. Until I was getting calls from the doctors. They're like, well, what you want us to do? It's like, well, she'll let you know if she's tired. So they was like, that's all we need. They was like, if she's going to keep fighting, we're going to keep fighting. So I said, yeah, she'll let you know if she's tired. So it was like, yo, your mom is such a fighter. Like, oh my gosh. And when I had to go up there to see the doctor, but the doctor didn't know the exact time that I could go there. And, she apologized when I spoke to her, but I was able to see my mom, but I couldn't be next to her. So she was in a special room. And it's crazy because I had one nurse, it was a couple nurses there, but one nurse actually was telling me, don't leave your mom like that. Like, don't leave her like that. Like, let her go. That's just, that's just wrong to leave her like that. And I guess the look on my face said it all, because another nurse came over to me and was just like, talk to your mom. You may not be able to go in there, but just talk to her. Let her know. Send her your positive thoughts. And I did. And she said, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to sit her up so she can at least see you. I said, okay. I was like, could you just tell her that my son and I gave our names. It was like that we're here, even though my son wasn't there, that we're here. And to tell her we're okay. And if she's tired, it's okay. She can go. Just watch us. Just watch over us. And she went in there and she sat my mom up. And just like Kathy, she fought because she was taking off that mask when she gave her that message. She wanted to say something, but she fought. She wanted the mask off. And I cried and I smiled and I laughed and I did everything. And I was by myself with that. A couple of days later, I'm still going back and forth talking with the doctors, and they're just like, wow, your mom is like this. And it was probably, after that, it was probably 2 days later, they was calling, everything's okay, everything's all right. That's the first thing they say. But this call that I got on that Sunday, it was, your mom coded, but we got her back. And I'm like, okay. And literally I had no tears. I'm in the house by myself. My son had went to the store to get something to eat. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, what you want us to do again? I said, if she's tired, she'll let you know. I was like, she's going to let you know when she's had enough. They're like, okay. 30 minutes later to an hour later, I get another call, and the doctor is literally out of breath. And I hear it in his voice. And he's just like, I have never had a patient that fought as hard as your mother did, but we couldn't bring her back. And I was like, I told you, she'll let you know when she's tired. I was like, she'll let you know when she's had enough. And I said, okay. And they gave their condolences, and it was just like, I spoke to 2-3 different doctors, and it was just like, your mother fought to her literal last breath, and I've never seen that before. And I told them, thank you. They was like, you said your mom was strong. You said your mom was strong. And I said, yeah, she's a fighter. She's a Gemini. And then I just sat there in a house where my mom was just at a month ago. My stepdad, who raised me, also died in the same house 10 years, 12 years prior. And I was alone. Like I said, my son had went to the store, so he doesn't even know his nana's gone. So I'm like, I gotta start making phone calls. So I called my 2 cousins who my mom had raised, because their mom and my mom are sisters, and it was actually 9 days apart. Gemini twins, exactly. So I called them, and they broke. But I'm still the strong one. So then I started calling other people. I called my best friend, Toinette. She's like, she's on her way. I called my other best friend, Jackie. She's like, she's on her way. I'm like, no, it's okay. I was like, I gotta wait for Amari to get home. So Donette, who I call Sunshine, she got there. And just after that, Amari walked in the door. And I had to tell him that he lost his truly, truly best friend, his Nana. And he just put his head down and went in his room. She asked, she was like, did you call Amari's dad? And I said, no. One of the hardest calls I did have to make was to my mother's best friend, which is my godmother. When I had to call my godmother Mary, that was the hardest call I had to make, because they were, and I went up to the hospital, forgot what day, and I already had talked to my godmother. She was like, when you go back to the hospital, call me so I could talk to her. And when I got to the hospital, I called her, and she just talked to my mom, and my mom was smiling because she heard her best friend. She heard her best friend, and she was just smiling. And I told my godmother, I was like, Godmom, and she's smiling, she's smiling. And she was like, Kat, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see you. I lost my godmother last year. So they are together. They are seeing each other. So, like I said, I got the phone, got my phone, and Donette was on the phone with him at first, my son's father, and he wanted to talk to me, and he just talked to me, and yeah, it hit everybody hard, but I still didn't break down, so to speak. I had some tears, but I didn't break down. And my cousin, we met up, my cousin brother, and Al, and we went up. I had to go up to the hospital, and it was snowing, and I'm just like, Donette drove us, and I had to fill out paperwork. Her body had already been moved to the morgue, so I couldn't see her. And I had realized, after that, that day, got back in the truck, and I said, or it was before we got up there, and I said, oh my gosh. And they're like, what happened? I said, today's January 31st. And they're like, yeah. And I turned to my cousin, and I said, Grandma died 6 years ago on the same day. And he was just like, oh, shit. And then my mind just started circling. So I had lost my mother and my grandmother on the same day, 6 years apart. And yes, I know that how I feel is that when my mom first coded, that was her sister telling her, it's okay, come on this side, Kathy. Well, Kat, because they never called her Kathy. Kat, come on, it's okay. My Aunt Lily, my Uncle Roger, and all other family members I was tight with, they were saying, it's okay, we can watch them on this side. That last time she coded, I know it was my grandmother and my great-grandmother, because I knew my great-grandmother. I visit her every summer, and she lived to be 100. So I knew that last time when she left with her mom and her grandma. That can mess people up. It didn't mess me up, but it was like, wow, my mother and my grandmother died the same day. Whew. So that's how things have snowballed for me with that. To let you know just what happened, so to speak. I'll keep doing a couple of these and posting them and to get myself back. But yeah, my mom had passed. And then what happens? All the bullshit happens when somebody passes. But before we get to the bullshit, my mom died January 31st, 2021. literally for the next 9 months until September 2021. I lost family every month. Some due to COVID, some due to cancer, uh, some was just old in age. I had a cousin that was shot and killed. I had another cousin who had a heart issue and she was really young. She passed away. Um, Family, people who I considered family more than my own relatives. I had them pass away. I had my other godmother. She passed away first. She passed away right after my mother, actually. Um, it 2021 was a year to remember, a year to forget. And then, while dealing with all the deaths, my best friend lost her dad. Her husband lost his brother. So we all just like, what the fuck? Like, yo, it's just too much. But I had to look forward to something good, because that June, my son graduated from high school. Now, he lost both his grandparents, his papa and his nana, throughout his years of school. He lost his papa, my stepdad, when he was 6. So he started the first grade, and his papa died in January. So needless to say, January is not my favorite month at all. My birthday is the end of December, and when January comes, it's literally a switch that I cannot control. It's a switch where it's like every day I am thinking about somebody that has passed away. My stepdad died. My grandmother died. My biological father's mother died. My abuela, she died, and me and her was 2 days apart. So not only did she die right after my birthday, we also have birthdays 2 days apart. So she's a Capricorn too. My stepdad died 10 days after my birthday. That was a really fun time to deal with that as well. Um, I lost 4 people in the month of January, different years, but 4 people for the month of January. My stepdad, my abuela, and my mother and grandmother the same day, years apart. So I'm just going to say this part as I go along with these single parent chronicle stories of this rising phoenix. Don't ever say these words to me. You see me in public, you see me anywhere. Don't ever say to me, you are strong. Because strong people don't get weak. And I had to be that way for so long that I didn't know how to be weak. So people was like, oh, you can lean on me. No, I can't. Because you turn around and tell me I got to be strong. So if I got to be strong, I can't be weak. I have no one to lean on. It's just me. And I told my son, I was like, if anybody tell you that you got to be strong for me, you let me know, because I don't want you to be strong for me. I need you to be strong for you. I'm going to be okay. But I have to deal with this my way, because I've been the breadwinner. I've had to take care of you and Nana and Papa, and now we are dealing with this. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on what has been going on. I'm going to be sharing more. We're back with the power mommy moves. No makeup. No makeup. Hair's done at least, thank God. But it's these past 2 years have been something. And I'm ready to share it with you guys. So thank you. And Tune into the next upload of these Power Mommy moves. It's the one, the only natural lady boss L Boogie. Peace.